Hi everyone! Today we are going to be making a really simple Halloween wreath. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with some ribbon. And I got all this ribbon at Dollar Tree. We've got some mesh, we've got some just regular skinny ribbon that's got the kind of metal on the side so that it stays. This black stuff is a it's got glow in the dark sparkles on it. Any kind of ribbon, it doesn't matter. Just get whatever you want in the colors that you want. It makes no difference. And then I've got this wreath form. This is the larger wreath form that you get at Dollar Tree. And I've got some zip ties in black. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these ribbons and I'm just going to lay them one on top of the other. Now, what happened here, I'll kind of give you a sneak peek, a little bit of yes, okay, so I have a zip tie here and I'm just going to zip tie the end of this layered ribbon onto the back of the wreath form, onto one of the section starts here. And I'm just going to shove the end of it through. And I'm just going to zip tie it nice and tight. And this is just going to hold the end here for us as we are working. Perfect. Okay, and then from this point on, all we're doing is smooshing. So you can see you're just going to take your layered ribbon, you're going to smoosh, and then you're going to take a zip tie and you're going to zip tie your smoosh to the wreath frame, and you're going to cinch it down nice and tight. Just make sure that when you cinch it down that the tail and the cinch is on the back of the frame, if that makes sense. And then you're going to do another smoosh and you're going to zip tie it right next to the one that you just did, zip tie it, cinch it to the back, and you're going to continue smooshing. And each section, at least for this one that I found anyway, takes about 4 to 5 smooshes. And you're just going to continue to smoosh and zip tie. Now, as I was saying earlier, spoiler alert, I did not have enough of the skinny purple ribbon to go all the way around my wreath. And so I actually ended up using a skinny black ribbon that I had. So it doesn't matter to me, I don't care. I think it kind of ended up looking cool anyway with kind of the mix of the colors. But if it does matter to you, if you want it all, synchronized, so it all looks very symmetrical, you want to make sure that you're getting enough ribbon. The ribbon from Dollar Tree obviously does not have a lot of quantity on its rolls, so you're going to want to make sure you get at least 3 of the ribbon rolls to go around these larger wreath frames. Okay, so I've done all of my smooshes, and then you're just going to flip it over and you're going to snip off all of your zip tie ends, and then I'm just going to go through and I'm going to clean it up just a little bit and kind of get rid of some of these, extra ribbons that I have, the ends that I zip tied in, and then this is what you have. And as you can see, we've got layers of ribbon now, and all we're going to do is we're just going to go through and we're going to unlayer them, and we're kind of going to fluff them up and floof them up and just kind of make them, instead of so that they're layered one on top of the other, we're just going to kind of unlayer them and kind of floof them around. You can do this however you want to do it. You can make it so it's all the same. You can make it so it's kind of block one after the other, so that the purple goes left, then it goes right, then it goes left, then it goes right. It's completely up to you. Obviously, I didn't have enough of the purple ribbon. You can see that half is purple, half is black. I just kind of did it so that it looks nice and fluffy. It covers up my wreath form how I wanted it to. Again, do this, you know, how you want to do it. This is your wreath, but it's very simple. If you want a lot of coverage, you would do more layers. So the more layers of ribbon that you start out with and smoosh, the more you're going to have to work with afterwards as you unlayer your folds afterwards, and it's going to cover more of your wreath form, if that makes sense. And so I obviously used a lot of mesh ribbon in this particular wreath, and which was fine. I actually liked that. Now we're just going to embellish. I've got some skull hands, I've got some foam white skulls, I've got a picture that I'm going to use, I've got some ornaments that I grabbed, all of this from Dollar Tree. Now you can see that my picture is very oblong shaped. It's not round like my wreath form. And I'm just going to zip tie this picture onto my wreath form frame. Very easy, very simple. It's already got a hole at the top. It's just basically takes 30 seconds to get it on there. It's not a big deal. But because my picture is oblong and not circular, for me, after looking at it, I wanted something to kind of fill in the space along the sides, where if I would have had a circular picture, it kind of would have filled in that inner circle of the wreath, if that makes sense. So what I decided to do is I decided to take some of these petals that I got, these flower petals, they're just loose petals. I found them at the Dollar Tree, and they're perfect because they've got black and white and purple, which are the colors that I have anyway. And I decided to hot glue them to the inner ring of the wreath. You don't have to do this. Obviously, this is going to depend on your preference, on what picture you use in the middle. For me, I wanted to add a different texture, a different look, and just something to kind of, I don't know, fill in the space a little bit, because the picture that I used was a bit more football shaped and not a circular shape. And so I felt like I needed something just to kind of add into that dead space. And so I just took the flower petals and I just kind of shingled them around the inner frame of the wreath form, just using hot glue. Of course, burning my fingers every single time I did this. Please don't do that. Use silicone, use silicone fingertip covers if you do this. Safety first. But obviously you could use more ribbon if you wanted to. You could do some more smooshes on this inner ring if you wanted to add a bit more dimension or a bit more depth, a bit more floof. You could totally do this with more ribbon if you wanted to. Or if you have a circular picture, then that obviously solves that problem. So there you go. And then I'm going to take these fun little ornaments that I found, and I'm just going to put them around the wreath. I'm not going to use zip ties. I'm just going to use hot glue, and I'm just going to put them, kind of smush them inside where I think they should go, where it feels appropriate to me. You do the same. I've got these kind of shiny purple ones, and then I've also got some black ones. And I'm just gonna hot glue them in where I think it makes sense and where I think it looks fun. They kind of have different textures and different patterns on them, which I think obviously is also fun and gives kind of a different look and a different pattern to the wreath as well. So that's a lot of fun. You can use zip ties on this if you want to. It does have the little hole at the top of the ornament, so if you wanted to, you could get some smaller zip ties and zip tie it onto the frame. You just kind of have to be careful about getting it in between your ribbon to get to the wreath frame, but you could totally do that. And then I'm going to take these white foam skulls and I'm just going to add a couple of these. These are just going to get hot glued right to the top of the ribbon. And again, just kind of, you know, where it feels appropriate, where it, you know, where I think it looks good. So this is, you know, obviously you do you. I have found that the hot glue that you use makes a difference. So just make sure you're using really good hot glue. Now I was going to use these skull hands and put these in, but I couldn't find a place that I liked it. Everywhere I put it just seemed awkward and didn't really fit. And so I decided not to use them. And so I tossed them over my shoulder and just added a couple more of the white foam skulls, and that's completely okay. If you need to pivot and decide not to use something, that's completely fine. And so this is what it looks like when I was done. I adjusted the petals just a little bit. You can see I kind of have a little gap right there. I did go in and fix that. But this is what it looks like on my door. I thought it turned out cool. Now, I kind of like the kind of cattywampus look of the colored ribbon. I've got kind of white on one side and black on the other, and I think it kind of gives it a cool look. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments.